meteorologist Stephen Jones.
Well, starting off with the time-lapse looking to the west, you can see had that great sunset go down, and of course after it went down, started cooling off pretty quickly down into the 50s. Of course, clear skies overhead, that's going to help us cool off into the 40s even more going into these overnight hours. But over the past 24 hours, you can see where we warm spot at that 57-degree mark, and those dew points, they're following the same trend in the 40s and the 30s. Not too big of a spread. 42 there in Junction, 41 here in town with relative humidity indices. Not too bad in the 80s from Junction, down to the 50s once you move your way up to Sterling City. But going over the next few days, we're going to see the same kind of pattern. It's not quite enough to get some of that rain, or too much even in terms of cloud cover. Current temperatures across the entire nation, you can see where that cool into next week. That's where we see a little bit more of a zonal pattern setting up. So we'll see if we can start getting some rain going more towards the Thanksgiving time frame. Current national satellites showing you that's the system that moved through last night. This nice swirl working there over Kansas and Nebraska, bringing that line of storms up through Louisiana. At least here in the Concho Valley, we're sitting with just clear skies overhead. It's looking pretty good if you're trying to go out, maybe just do a little bit of stargazing tonight, because it's just looking pretty clear overhead, and that's what we're expecting. Here in town in San Angelo, a nice 12 degrees cooler. The only one's not joining us. El Paso's looking a little bit warmer, but all of us dealing with this drier air and cooling off nicely and quicker than we did yesterday with the humidity that we were seeing across the area. What we saw today up into the lower 70s, just without the wind that we were seeing earlier this afternoon. Going into, or actually first, I want to take a look at the rain that we did get this morning when those storms pushed through, about just over 1/4 of an inch. And for the month, that puts us over 6 inches of rain. That's above 5-inch surplus what we're seeing for rain so far. And into this weekend, that's what I talked about. That ridge works back in, pushing us into the 70s, and overnight lows into the 50s. That's all for your 7-day forecast, but stick around for more KSAN.